I think it was an interesting football match in a finally warm night after so many cold nights. With some good things, some bad things. I think that we had a beautiful first half an hour until we scored a goal, where the team showed a lot of intention and capacity to find the spaces that were important to find, to attract, to create spaces, to bring the ball from one side and penetrate through the inside or circulate to find the opposite side and penetrate. Well, some nice combinations. The movements from Fawaz inside, giving us some more player inside, some more creativity, and the players then in the front showing, well, some of the things we wanted to bring on the game were there. Obviously that here and then we also feel that some of the settling down process that the players are having in terms of adaptation to the way we want to play and to the reality and to ourselves and to each other is still here and then not perfect, but it's normal. If we see this team today, how many changes this team have compared to, and it's a process that has to happen. We need, as we play so many games, we need to have capacity to still perform and do changes, and that is something that has been pleasing me. The players that enter today, we saw Mali was out for 2 matches and now he appears and he's okay. And others. Bennett came back again, and I think he was quite okay as a young player that is appearing and showing. And Sianda again enters. Mailula is showing. Well, I cannot. Temba entered and gave the stability back again. So I think that was the message important at halftime, was indeed that the team would not lose the cohesion that we showed during the first 30 minutes. As the second half went, and then with the substitution, some refreshness on some of the players that were getting tired. Tashrik, I think he's in a moment that he's feeling tired. Clearly, he needs to pick some air, and that brought obviously some new dimension. A little bit of, I think the team needs to always show the ambition not only to play the ball but to go for the goals. We could have scored more goals. Because sometimes we expose ourselves, and we should not forget that last year the championship was almost decided by goals. So there was a moment that was brought on the table. So we need to keep the focus on scoring more and more. But most important, today, no goal suffered, stability. The team showed beautiful football. I think that it was a good night for sure.
Coach, congratulations on the victory. Based on the stats that we're seeing on social media, it's a record 31st home victory for the club, which means you haven't lost a game at home since you've been appointed at Sundowns. Coach, what's the secret to the fortress that you have in Tshwane?
Yeah, I think it's the first match without losses.
You've not lost at home in the league in 31 games.
Yeah, bravo. I think obviously it's a fantastic number. Let's hope we can make it go with time more and more. It will mean that we'll collect points, that will be a team that will state ourselves by the quality of the game. I think it speaks by the work of the players most of all. Obviously, the attitude is something we need to make continuously, make it permanent, make us state ourselves always. I think at home we obviously feel the love of our supporters give us also some energy, or a lot of energy, but also we find it has been now today you saw the pitch was fantastic. It also helps us to play good football. It's not a coincidence, obviously. It cannot be a coincidence, but that it's not something that we seek, something like at home we cannot know. We don't do it. We look for the games with the same attitude. That's what is important to have in a team like Sundowns, is to be consistent wherever you play. But I think that is one more record to put. I think we've been stating ourselves a lot of records in the last since we arrived in the club. It was in the first championship. It was so many. Then the beginning of the season after the break also we beat, well, Records are beautiful, but trophies will speak for us in the end of the season. So let's be humble, let's be continuous in terms of what we seek. Let's be ambitious to show more and more development, because the teams that look for development are the ones that become better and better. And there's a lot of margin for us to become better, and we need to seek it permanently, sure. But it's obviously a good stats that will go for the CV of the coach, of the club, of the players, and it's always a mark to add to our careers.
Evening, coach. Congratulations on the win. I just wanted to ask. We see at big teams like PSG, we see how most of their key players don't play a lot of league matches, but they are sort of rested for maybe when the periods of the Champions League come. Can you take us through your policy in terms of rotation?
Look, it's important to clarify, because I see, and I spoke about that, and I want to speak about that again. And it's important to speak, especially for our fans that we love so much. We cannot expose before the matches, or 1 day or 2 days or 3 days before a match, which players are available, which players are not available, because as much as we would like to do it, we are also giving clues and information for our opponents to prepare the matches against us. So obviously we cannot always expose everything that happens inside the walls of Chloorkop. We need to protect not only the things that happen, but mostly the information we provide to people that play against us, or to the teams and the coaches and the players that play against us. So there are things that we know that happen individually with the players that obviously allow us to understand that they can play these minutes, or they can play those minutes, or they should not play that because they have a risk of injury, or because they are still not in the best condition. We don't put players to play because we want to spare them for when come September, October, or November. We don't do that. We have players that more consistently show condition to start. In the moment, I think we are mostly trying to arrive in all the matches with freshness, because obviously we know that by rotation consistent throughout the season, we can arrive in the decisive moments of the season with some more freshness. I think last year we could basically do it. I remember Teboho Mokoena spoke about that, how he was able to perform well in the end of the season, because in some moments, even not wanting to stay out, I told, now it's time for you to rest now, because we will have opportunity to become stronger in the end, and he spoke about that, how it was important to do it. But there are many situations that are happening that we don't control. Teboho's injury, as you saw from the first match, put him out of the team. Tapelo Morena comes from the past, Kiano, Artur. Indeed, Damane, I see people speaking so much about where is Damane. Damane will appear in the right moment. I also don't want to put players to play when they are not in the best conditions, to expose them to bad performances. We need to protect the players. Today he made again 60 minutes and already in a good space. So I think we are doing the things in the right way, by integrating the players, by putting them to play when they can perform, protecting when they have to be protected, and manage it in the right way. So what we ask our fans is to have some patience, to understand, not to demand things that cannot happen. Because sometimes they want things to happen that is not possible, to play players that they are even injured. We have a lot of work together with the medical department, with the fitness and conditioning department, to manage the moments of the players, when to expose them, when to take them out. So it's obviously a work that we need to do to be consistent on avoiding injuries. Unfortunately, today we got a severe injury from Kulis Mudau, and he will be out for sure for a long time. It's an Achilles rupture, so he will be tomorrow seen by the specialist and surgered for sure on the day after, so that we can start the recovery process. But that we don't control. It was even an action that he was alone, so there was no contact. It was not a tackle with an opponent. It happens, like accidents happen in car races, also in football. Sometimes injuries like this happen. We work to avoid them, but we don't control. But that's what we need, is that permanent understanding, the permanent support, the love from our fans, because we have so much, we get so much energy from them, and that's what we need, and that's what we want.
Coach, Miguel, seeing the second at Sundowns, maybe just to share with us more about him, what you've seen about him at training, and also maybe we are seeing he's enjoying his stay at Sundowns.
Look, Ndlovu arrived in Sundowns. He made 1 week and a few more days, and he got a muscular injury. We went to Austria, he was injured, and he started training with us maybe 1 week ago. We know that we have limitations on his use in terms of minutes, otherwise the risk of injury will increase as he plays more. So that is exactly the things that people that are from outside don't understand, because they are not in possession of all the information that we that are inside, we work permanently on. Also depend on the level of matches, because there are also behaviors inside the pitch that he doesn't control. He's obviously a fantastic creative player that will help us for sure a lot, as many others. But his process of integration in the team is something we have to do naturally and carefully, because when you come from an injury, the worst thing can happen is to go back on the same process. So that's what we are doing, and we are doing well, and he's also doing well on understanding and entering to help, and I think he did very well. Cassius he's just playing the football he has to play. Cassius is a stated player. Everybody knows the quality that he has. Obviously that being happy makes things more fluid. He's a very happy player in the moment by being with us. We are very happy also to have him. He was very well welcomed, but he felt immediately back home. And when you are happy, usually things flow towards you. You know, the energy comes towards the people that are open-hearted to it. So I think that's what's happening. And let's see. Of course, we have a lot of players that can help in the front. He's one of them, and we count on him, of course, as we count on the other ones.
We do have a press conference tomorrow, so we'll take the last 3 questions.
My question was answered.
That's so lovely, thank you. It was more like
No worries.
So we'll take the last question from you. Okay, 1, 2, 1 question each. Thank you. Thank you. You can start.
Coach, perhaps maybe can you talk to us about the healthy competition within the team? Because of that, I've asked you this question before, where you said that you know that you've got a good squad of good players, and everyone believes that they are Sundowns their quality. But there are those obviously that at this point in time perhaps are unsettled and not really that happy. Can you perhaps tell us on how you are dealing with that, especially when the transfer window is open like this now still?
Look, obviously there are players in different levels, but the more simple thing you have to do is always speak in the truth and in the eyes of the players regarding what we want to develop as a team attitude. We don't have, I tell them every day, and I told, I think, already to you, we don't have first 11 players, we don't have players on the bench, we don't have players out. We have starters, finishers for that match. And that is the attitude the players need to have. Last match we were playing in the night, in the afternoon, and in the morning players were playing. Mali was playing in the morning. Today he came and he played first 11. So I have no, Grant was out 2 matches ago, and then he played 2 in a row. I have no issues to play a player that is out, because it's something we have control on in terms of providing conditions for him to come back and start. What we need is that the players obviously receive that as open heart. So today in the morning is not easy when the other ones are on the hotel to go there 5 or 6 together with some Diski players and make a match against Tux University. That's what we did today in the morning. So, but they did well. Tapelo played and very well. Last week was Zuko. He was in camp. He left the camp at 7:30 in the morning to go to play. And he came back, he was not even in the bench. So, but today he came in, he got minutes, and unfortunately by the reason, and maybe next match he'll play again. So he needs just to be ready for the opportunity. The other day I was asking the players how many of them still did not play this season when you have 4 matches played, and not many. Almost all of them played already. Almost all. I think 2 or 3 max, exception of the goalkeepers, didn't play. Maybe Motobi, but he was on the bench consistently, and not many more. So that's the spirit we have. We know in Sundowns, and I think last year in the end of the season, Keegan gave a fantastic interview where he spoke about the attitude that players need to have in the club, because they know that probably they can not look like they are not important for some time, and suddenly, bow, the opportunity appears, and they have to be ready for it. And then establish good competition. I was speaking with Sugar now after the match, and he was telling me, wow, bravo, coach, I see the relation between Fawazi and Aubrey is so nice. It's good to see the energy one brings and the other one can come. And still we have Divine that, by the way, today also trained very well in the morning. And for sure Divine will appear in the right moment, as he appeared in the last match against Chiefs. So promoting good relations is important, showing them that, okay, maybe one here, the other one there. In the end, there will always be players playing less, obviously. But the commitment with the club must be bigger than the selfishness of looking by themselves. That's what it has to happen.
Coach, I think it was after the MTN game when you spoke about needing, I think, one more midfielder, if I'm not mistaken. How far are you with that, and maybe the profile that you're looking for, that
Look, I spoke, and first of all, I should have not spoken, but because I never spoke about market before, and I will not speak today. Look, the things that a coach thinks in a certain moment is a process of development of an idea. So we knew when we settled the team and when we made the movements, we knew that probably there would be things that could happen. But we also knew that let's give us 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 matches to see if we really need to do it or no. And that's the process where we are now. Evaluation until the end of the market. What will happen, we don't know. There's nothing predicted, absolutely nothing. Obviously, if you ask any coach, you would like to have the best players in the world. But I have some of the best or many of the best ones in South Africa, together obviously with others that are in other teams, and we have to work to develop players also. Look, I hope in late October, probably, it would be so beautiful to be before, we can receive a reinforcement like a Keanu, like an Artur, for example. That will be 2 fantastic reinforcements, because if we can go well until then, imagine what it is to receive those 2 players. So let's look more inside, make proper evaluations on what we have inside, and then the club will take decisions on that. I think we work very well inside the club in order to promote what we have first, and if we need to move after, we do it in the proper time.
Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, coach.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.